Well, good Friday evening, everyone. And I guess this week it's a happy belated Canada Day, eh? And we also have happy 4th of July for the folks that are here in the United States. So there we go. Cheers to you from our Dr. Minnie, who's making a house call for the first time on Around the Layout podcast. That would be Bernard Hellen. Bernard, welcome to the show.
Is this my first time?
This is your first time on Around the Layout podcast.
Well, they say you always remember your first, so I'm going to pour a beer right now to celebrate.
Cheers. That's excellent. And what do you got there? He says dark ale on it.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. So it's probably a sin and I'll get in trouble, but this is a 0%. I think it's a 0.5% beer, and I thought I'd try it. I've already had one tonight, so I'm not cheating on myself. But apparently, I got to cut down on the old carbohydrates.
Yeah, I've heard that story too.
Yeah, it's a blood glucose thing. So I'm going to try this. I like dark ales, and I'm pretty loyal to Henderson's, which is a brewery across the street from my studio, as people will know who join the broadcast. But I thought, you know what? I'm a real sucker for dark beers, and I don't know how a 0.5% dark beer will taste. So I thought, what the heck?
There you go. So I say the can kind of looked like generic soda is what I first, it just had the can had the generic soda look to it. Like kind of if you go to like a supermarket, what the can would look like. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's not bad. It tastes a little bit more like the can than it does the beer, but
maybe it's been sitting in the can too long.
Yeah.
But you got it. Yeah, there you go. So Dr. Minnie's got his dark ale ready to go, and glad to have you here. We're going to be doing our July 2024 Operating Crew giveaway.
Awesome.
And you're participating in that. And I just saw the light flicker in my room, so let's hope that there's no power outages. I don't think there's any storms out.
I was flickering. I was trying to turn.
Maybe it was
down.
you. I thought I saw it in my room, but all right. But got the power going. Let's say hello to a few folks that are dropping by here. Mike H. Trains apparently wanted to give us a cookie of some form. We're talking about lowering our carbs, but there's a cookie nonetheless.
I think he got the cookie because he was the first one in the stream.
Maybe that's maybe that's what that's for. Illinois Midland Railroad stopping by saying hi, guys. Good to see you. Keith is also stopping by saying hello. And he says that he loves beer, but he is a Miller High Life kind of guy. So he's an old school Miller High Life guy. And yeah, that is the champagne of beer. And then Robert coming to us from Nova Scotia. Hello, and glad you could join us. Illinois Midland telling us that the bench working on models for the St. Louis RPM. We'll be talking about that a bit later. So good segue there. Josh Bowman stopping by saying hello. Good to see you, Josh. And so glad to see you folks here, and glad you're joining us and sharing your Friday night here in the United States. It's a quasi 4-day weekend for those that were lucky enough to have today off or made sure that they were off today. So glad you could take a little time with us as we're going to do a giveaway here in a little bit. But Bernard and I got a few things to talk about, and I guess we got so much. I'm not sure where to start. So why don't you start us off with one of the many things that have been going on for you? Because you said you've been quite busy.
It has been. Before we start, I just need to know whether that's an Oliver Super 77 on Josh's, I guess, what do you call it? Facebook profile picture.
Yeah,
I think that might be an Oliver. So Josh was the inspiration for my Oliver 77. And I've actually been to his farm. He's about an hour and a half east of me here, and a fantastic farm. Went to visit him with the family, and he has a lot of tractors on that farm, and he inspired me to do my Oliver 77 and provided a lot of photographs for that, which is it is there you go. It is an Oliver 77.
It is awesome.
Yeah, so if you go to the miniprints.com website, which I know we'll do later, and you see an Oliver 77, that's inspired by, requested, and that's a Josh Bauman tractor.
Awesome stuff.
So yeah, it's been crazy. I was going to come on and bring a dog and a pony and put on a show. But the world kind of exploded yesterday. There was some pretty wild news in the 3D printing world, and as a result, I pretty much spent all day yesterday and all day today on the phone talking to content creators. Did you see the news?
I saw the news and I got it kind of in a weird way, because the first indication that something was weird is that I got an email from Shapeways saying that my account had been closed and due to inactivity or something. Now, I know I have purchased some items through Shapeways before. I mean, it was just such a plethora of 3D stuff and all over the place, all over the map, not just railroading, but tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got this email and it's like, your account's been closed. Okay. What? And then I saw a couple other folks talking about it going away. And then of course I Googled it and there was the news, the good old chapter 11 and the goodbye. So
Yeah.
kind of surprising news out of the 3D printing world with that.
It really is. And it's surprising and it's not surprising. And what I mean by that is the 3D printing world changes so quickly. And it's something that I've seen. I mean, I started pretty much, 5 years. I'm in my 5th year. So I started in March of 2020. And the changes just in the period of time from then till now is unbelievable. And I am not surprised that they went under because their pricing was insane.
Mm,
I am surprised they went under as quickly as they did without any, you know, acknowledgement or warning or anything like that. It was kind of like here today, gone tomorrow.
yeah.
The net result of it, though, is probably quite good for my business, miniprints. Not that I wish anyone to be out of pocket, and I hope that no one's left really. You know, I hope Shapeways makes them whole, or people are able to, recoup the losses. But from my perspective, I've been on the phone all day yesterday and all day today with content creators who are looking for a new home for some of their models, and certainly, mini prints being one of, and I'll say one of, I think, hopefully the leaders in the industry, we're really well positioned to provide a home for some of these models and to create income for the creators, because a lot of people just had the stuff up on Shapeways and that's it. Like their income's gone to zero
Yeah, that's tough.
overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of see it as a win-win. I mean, not that, I want that to happen to anyone, but from my perspective, I think I can pick up a whole bunch of really great designs. And the two collections that I've just sort of signed up I'm really excited because they fill some nice holes in what I've been offering. But then it also gets the income going again for the creators.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's it's probably been the busiest week I've had in the last 4 years.
Just so I have a better understanding of it, the like Shapeways was kind of like I don't know, like a clear. I don't know if what the right word to say. I was going to say clearinghouse. I don't think that's the right word, but like
Marketplace.
yeah, it was so somebody would take their design to Shapeways, they'd put it in the market, right, and then Shapeways would fulfill that order using
Exactly.
their 3D printing.
Exactly. And everybody and their dog has a 3D printer nowadays. And there are a lot of talented designers that have, 1, 2, 5, 20 models that are
Yeah,
really, viable. They're really great models. But take it from me, honestly, and it's a cautionary tale, starting a 3D printing business, there are advantages and disadvantages. And I mean, going through the fulfillment, it's a bit of a pain. So I've got a commercial space, I've got a full-time employee, I've got a summer student. So I've kind of figured out, how I can get these things off the printer and out the door. And honestly, the worst part of the job is the fulfillment, the like actually getting it in the post. It's
yeah,
just not something that people want to do. There are a lot of people that have great models, but they don't really want to set up the business, do the printing, do the packaging, do the mailing, do the finance collection, all that
yeah,
jazz. It's not the fun part, trust me.
right. I can also imagine being in the 3D printing business that it's hard. It must be really hard to set guardrails because it's vast. I mean, as much as what exists in the world could exist in 3D printing, right? So how do you set those boundaries and say, okay, we know we're going to focus here, because you could go all over the map and just have this, the offerings could be, a website that's got tens of thousands or more of offerings on it. And that's just
Everything
hard
is
to, yeah.
shrinkable. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, luckily I have a shrink ray gun,
Yeah.
which is at the office. I should have brought it, but I just aim my shrink ray gun and, well, you'll get shrunk with the shrink ray gun, but we'll
Yeah.
talk about that in a little while.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. I mean, virtually, I mean, if our goal is to create the world in miniature on our model railroad layouts, then pretty much everything's fair game. And I mean, you're right. I kind of suffer from squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. And
Yeah.
I actually do have squirrels in miniature. Uh, but I've set a few guardrails myself. And I mean, mini prints started, just to sort of go back 4 years ago. A mini print started because, and I'm sure everybody's heard this story ad nauseum, so forgive me. But it started because I just wanted a beaver for my layout.
Yeah.
And it started, and I think this story is common for a lot of people.
Oh, we've
There's
heard it many a times. Yeah, exactly. Like I created my business because I needed this and couldn't find it. Is a very
exactly,
common
exactly,
story. Yeah.
absolutely. It's like I'm modeling X, Y, and Z prototype, and there was a line side detail that looked like this, and no one offered it, so I made it. So that's how I started. So most of the stuff that's in the mini prints catalog right now is either stuff that I wanted for my own layout, modern day freight operations, or things that people came and said, hey, can you make me X or Y? So,
Yeah.
you create a beaver, and the next thing some guy says, hey, I want a moose or an elk, or
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
kind of
Or you
spins
get
out
a
of
Keith
control.
here who's looking for an alligator. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have Noah's Ark of animals by the time you're done. Well,
Well,
two
and
of
it
each.
started
So
with the
yeah,
animals, because back then, 4 years ago, nobody had animals. Like, nobody had animals. And
yeah.
like, I went into the computer, and trust me, do not do this. I typed HO beaver. That is not a search you
Yeah,
ever
no,
want
no,
to
no,
do.
no, no, no.
You
Yep.
never want to do that on the internet.
Yep.
I had some explaining to do. But they had them in O scale, but they did not have them in HO. They just did not exist. No Prizer, no Woodland Scenics, no one.
Yeah.
So that's how the whole thing started. It is infinite, and typically you can't do it all. So I specialize in certain things. I like many things. So there are other companies out there that do, if you want a depressed center flat car,
Mm,
there will be companies out there that will print you a complete, 89-foot depressed center flat car. That's not me. I like mini things. I like, things that you can throw on a 3D printer, print 100 of them, and you know, I
yeah.
like the little details because I like going down the rabbit hole. Scenery is the fun part for me.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at your website now, we'll bring that up here. And I mean, just the amazing things. I mean, right at the top, I remember you released that wood chipper,
Oh yeah.
and then you know the scrolling stuff here, the over the edge stuff is really neat.
I
And then
like things that are fun and different, and you know, at the very beginning I said that I would never do, propane tanks or something like that, because everyone had them. Turns out there's a reason everyone has them, because they're popular. So I've started to backfill some of the things, like ice machines that everyone has. But the things that really tickle my fancy are the little details that are completely unique, maybe a little bit funny. I have a section called oddities, which is probably my favorite section, because, where else are you going to find like a plague doctor for your layout, or a jackalope, you know,
right,
or a skeleton motorcycle rider? These are the things I think that I sort of tickle my fancy. But you're right, it's endless. I mean, Yeah, there was. Do you
Where
remember
can
that
you
social?
find Rabbit Fight Club?
Do you remember there was that social media meme where like rabbits were fighting? Like there was a video on the internet a couple years ago where it was like two like rabbits just boxing the poop out of each other. There it is. I linked it right there.
Yeah.
So, someone said, "Hey, can you do that?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?"
Yeah. That's wild.
That's the fun stuff for me.
Well, I like your website too. Your website's very easy to navigate. You've got stuff right here up front. I'm a big fan of usable websites, and this is awesome. And I see right up the top, the banner just went away from us, but I see some stuff that's going on, and you've got things lined up around St. Louis. Why don't we talk a little bit about St.
Oh
Louis,
man,
our
well,
trip
yeah,
out there?
it never rains, it pours. It's like I was getting ready for St. Louis right when this whole Shapeways thing went down. So that's kind of thrown me in a bit of a tizzy. Um, but yeah, I went last year and I'll be honest, because I know this is your first year, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, prepare to be like,
Yeah, a little sensory overload. I'm kind of preparing myself for that, especially the things I've heard. And I was just talking today with Matthew Fricks and trying to come up with an agenda, and it's quite a bit just to even make plans for what's going to end up being like 3.5 very short days.
and
And
it's really
yeah,
fun. It's like
yeah,
really fun. For me, I think it was, first of all, there's some great people down there. And I connected with a whole bunch of guys that I really wanted to hook up with and connect with, like James Regier and like Joshua Barton and Mike Buddy and that whole crew. It
right,
was really great to sort of meet some people that I'd um, only met online. And it's a really well attended show. So there are all sorts of people that you will like know but have never met before.
yeah,
So obviously, like number one is the people for sure. You're going to connect with a
sure,
whole bunch of people. Number two, the models. It's there are like 4 or 5,000 display models. The tables are endless. So I did a YouTube video last year where I just started at the first table and started walking. I went live showing the models.
yeah,
I ran out of time. Like I had to be back at my booth before I could, like it's endless and the models are spectacular.
yeah,
So you'll be inspired on the models. But the other thing, which is something not to forget, as far as I know, and I think I'm right about this, every single class one interchanges at St. Louis.
yeah. The rail fanning is something I'm also looking forward to because
You've got
yeah,
ENSF, you've got UP, you've got CSX, you've got, I think, Norfolk Southern, you've got CN, you've got CP because of the Kansas City, but
yep,
you also have a whole bunch of like short lines that interchange all these.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's almost like you have to divide your time between like, do I go to the RPM or do I go rail fanning? And you kind of want to do it all.
Yeah. That's why I say it's going to be 3.5 very short days because if anybody knows me, I love model railroading, but I love the prototype too. And, to be able to get trackside out there and see those things. And we've already been making plans, between Matthew Fricks and the group that he runs with. And then, of course, Tony Cook and Shane Mason and those
Yep.
folks as well. Looking forward to seeing them. And I keep joking that it's the truth. It's kind of funny. It'll be the first time I meet Tony Cook in person because him and I have been working together for well over a year, but it's always been through the screen. And
I
you,
know. And that's the best part.
yeah,
Um, there's a great place called Granite City that's a steelworks that's
yeah,
completely worth seeing. And there is I forget the name of it, but there's a St. Louis branch line that's been around for like well over 150 years. And it started off actually as a bridge and it became a railroad. And its only purpose is to basically shuttle cars between all the class ones.
oh wow, that's cool,
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I can't wait. But the other thing too is I'll be scanning down there.
awesome. Yeah, I kind of heard. I kind of heard that was going to happen. So
Well, yeah, because I was there last year scanning, and that's the big thing for me is I'd love to sort of print stuff and announce stuff. And between all the stuff going on, I don't know whether I'm going to actually have time to manufacture anything because I've got a ton of new models and really fun models that I want to bring down and show. But man, there are only 24 hours in a day.
yeah, they're never long enough, and yeah, and that whole sleep, and for me, full-time job gets in the way and
Yeah,
everything else, and then take. But yeah, definitely looking forward to maximizing the most of 3.5 days out there, and then trying to do all those things, and then meet folks and be able to see some of the vendors too. Being able to see the folks from Spring Creek Model Trains again, and I'm sure there's going to be quite a few others that are friends of the podcast. So really looking forward to doing that. I'm trying to set a time. I think it'll probably be over at Spring Creek Model Trains at a certain time, or I'll go over there if anybody wants to stop by and say hello. I'll park myself for a little bit over there and say hi to folks and chat with you for a bit. So I'll be making more announcements about that plan as soon as I have my informal Uber drivers agenda and figure out where things are going to land. But yeah, just a lot of things going on, and I can understand for you, it's just a crazy time to travel and then
it is.
do all the stuff and the scanning and everything else. And let's get into that with the scanning. Let's make an
Yeah, well,
announcement.
the scanning's amazing. I mean, if you bring the website up again, or
Yep.
I've got a section. If you go up to, well, you can scroll down, but there's a section underneath oddities called mini-me's. You had
Okay.
it there. Yeah,
There it is.
mini-me's. So I started scanning. The first show I attended was Timonium 2 years ago.
Okay.
There you
Whoops.
go.
All right, and
And I have scanned well over 300 model railroaders at Timonium, Springfield twice, St. Louis last year, NMRA in Texas. Oh gosh, I did it at uh, Amherst. Sorry, I said Amherst.
yep.
Peabody, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, did George right in his layout actually. So it's so much fun.
we
Uh,
got to teach in Massachusetts, by the way, before we go any further.
yes,
It's Peabody.
Peabody. That's
Can you
right.
do it?
Peabody.
Peabody. It looks like
Peabody.
Peabody. Peabody.
Peabody.
Can you say the other town in Massachusetts that everybody gets?
Da, 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 da.
It's Worcester.
Oh, right, Worcester.
There you go. You got
Yeah,
Worcester
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Now you've got Peabody.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna
I
teach you a
called
little.
it Worcester once and I got eviscerated for that one.
Yeah. So there's a couple versions, but Worcester. Worcester.
Worcester. Yeah. So I've been having a ton of fun with these. I started this 3 years ago, I think. And over the last 3 years, like I say, it's well over 300. The technology has improved. It's gotten better and better and better. I'm on my fourth scanner now, I think.
Awesome.
And it's just a really, really fun way to add a detail to your layout that no one else has. So you'll see a lot of familiar characters in there. Heath is in there. I know you were
Yeah, let's
speaking with
go.
Heath earlier.
Heath, you did a perfect one with Heath because Heath's got
Yeah,
all of his contraptions on him as well. So that was just an
exactly.
absolutely
There you
perfect.
go.
That's
Yeah.
a perfect Heath right there. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, all of these mini-me's are available in N scale, HO, S, or O scale. And even the N scale versions of these people, I've had people go up to them, look at this little N scale thing that is just, smaller than small, and go, "Oh, I know that guy." you know,
Yeah.
People like actually look like themselves.
That's amazing. It's amazing
Yeah,
the technology.
it's so much fun. And I have a hoot doing it. It really becomes a fun spectator sport. I've got a whole bunch of uh, people signed up. To answer Keith's question, I don't actually print them on site. I scan them on site, and each scan takes about, well, by the time you come in, fill out the paperwork, and leave, it's probably about 15 minutes tops. The scan itself is probably less than 5 minutes. And I go back, I go to the studio, I clean you up, I do a little Photoshop work, a little, beautification, and then mail them out to people, 2 to 4 weeks after the fact, depending on how busy it is.
Yeah, some very familiar names in here, and really cool. Like especially the ones you've shown here that have been painted, and what
Yeah.
can be done with these as well once they're completed. That's really cool to see there. So
Yeah, and Steve 87th mentions that the itching tends to wear off after about a week after the scan. So if you get any itching or burning like Steve did, there's a cream and it all sort of
that's all part of the package.
it's all part of the experience,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And the fun thing is, beside being sort of a who's who of model railroading here, these are great that people put them on their own layouts. But then, of course, this becomes just a really interesting catalog of people that you can then purchase and add to your model railroad layouts and various poses. And
Absolutely.
if you go to the Mini Prints Modelers Facebook group, you'll see what some of actually, there was just a couple up today. Actually, do you have can you pop another browser?
Let me see if I can get that up here real quick.
Because I love the scans. It's fun, but I love seeing what people do with them. And someone just there's a great modeler out there called Mountain Goat Models. I don't know if you know Mountain Goat Greg.
You're asking me to do two things at the same time
Yeah,
there.
I know. And yes, Keith,
I'm trying to spell here too.
I can share it if you want.
Yeah, why don't you share that group, because
Yeah. And the only reason I bring it up here, let me share here. Gotta move it over here. I've got too many windows open, so Facebook. Let's see if I could share here. Share. Did I get it? Share. There we go.
Yep, there we go. Add the stage. There you go.
All right. So this is the Mini Prints website, just the regular Mini Prints Facebook group. Here's a guy, Dan Pugach. I scanned him with his Gretsch guitar when I was in Peabody in, I guess, the spring. But what I wanted to show you was here, groups, the Mini Prints Modelers group, because I was inspired by this. There is, check this out. So there's this great post. This is Mountain Goat Models right here.
Yep.
And this is HO Scale. Look what he did there.
The tie-dye is pretty amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's wild.
I mean, and he actually modified the fingers in HO Scale to be like, so people have a lot of fun, and that to me is the best part. I love the painting.
Now you have options for painting now. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, actually, funny you should mention that. Before I was on with you, I just finished, I think, the last of the animals. So up until now, so I started off with all mini prints being just the 3D printed. So, you got that sort of grayish plastic, gray blue plastic. Let me see if I can go back here. Here we go. See if I could find you know what they look like. They're all gray and, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I added, I should talk about that too in a minute. Then I added painting for certain categories, like objects. So you can actually go to a Mini Prints website. So if you go to the Mini Prints website, I'll let you drive here. I'll stop sharing.
All right, we'll go back to the Mini Prints website.
Yeah. Go. And go to, say, objects for sake of argument. You can pick any random object you desire.
Look at all these awesome objects. You can get a little 4x8 layout and
I know.
HO scale.
You can put an HO scale layout on your HO scale layout.
That's pretty amazing. Let's see here. This is pretty funny. The big wheel trike.
Okay, so the big wheel. So the first decision you have to make is what scale do you want it in?
Okay, yep, I see. So I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna make some S scale people happy. I rarely make S scale people happy, so let's do
Fine, but
that.
you can choose it in S scale. Then the next thing you have to decide is, do you want it painted or unpainted? So you can buy it painted or unpainted. And up until very recently, it was just the objects that had this option.
Okay.
And I've got a super, super, super talented painter, Mike H.O. Trains, who is the first guy in today in your broadcast, who got the cookie.
Yeah.
And he does all of my object painting.
Awesome.
He's a friend and a neighbor, and he's located just 45 minutes up the road. And Mike is, if you haven't seen his channel, he is an incredible modeler. He is the graffiti road. But I didn't have animals, so I've just hired a summer student named Sunny, who is an illustration student at Sheridan College, where they turn out all the Disney animators. And he's working with me this summer, and I just finished flipping all the animals to the painted versus unpainted option. So you can now choose that. And through the power of AI, here, you'll like this. Oops.
There you go.
Did I freeze? Uh-oh.
Nope. No, you just got to get the camera. You got to get here. Let me get the unshare.
There we go. Here we go.
Yeah. And then hold it up.
So all mini print animals are now available. There you go.
Amazing.
Painted or unpainted. So there you go.
Very cool. And if you wanted the challenge of that, and Keith brings up a comment that he bought his, he goes, I got mine unpainted. I'm not sure how to paint the people, the Icemen. I feel comfortable painting alligators, but people never have done that. And I know you've run some clinics in the past about painting them as well.
Yeah. So at the bottom of the Mini Prints website, there's a section that everybody seems to miss. So go down to the very bottom there. So the first link is subscriptions, and I offer a Mini Prints of the Month club,
right?
Where for $29.99, postage included, you basically get a box of all the new mini prints. So I try and put $50 worth of mini prints, retail value mini prints, in every box. So it's all of the new mini prints of that month at basically half price.
Awesome.
Then I have every N scaler in the world saying you don't offer N scale, and I do. I just put it all in one convenient place called N Scale Gallery so that they could find it, because they're just too small to find anywhere else. My little N scale joke there. The third tab is the painting clinics, and I've done 2 clinics. You can click on the painting clinic. And I love painting. That's my favorite part of the hobby. This is a figure painting clinic that will be of interest to Keith that I did at the Texas National last year. And then before that, oh, thank you, New Haven Rails. I really appreciate that comment. That's lovely.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put that up there. He's been subscribed and super impressed. So awesome.
And I'm just this weekend, actually, I'm printing everything for the July box, which is another thing. There's St. Louis, there's Shapeways. Like I said, this is literally, I kid you not, this is the busiest week of 4 years. So New Haven Rails, you will be getting your box out. I try and send them out on the 15th of every month. So this weekend is the print weekend for that. But then there's also a clinic underneath that one. And this is a general clinic that I did for the NMRAX.
Awesome.
On just general painting. And I've got a third clinic that I'm going to be doing at the NER convention coming up, the Lakeshores convention in September.
Awesome. So another chance to learn a little bit about painting from Dr. Mini himself.
And trust me, I am no expert, but what I do is I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I watch a lot of YouTube videos from the Wargamers, because I think those guys are miles ahead than we are in their painting techniques.
Wild.
So the military models, the D&D guys, the war gamers, they've got this all figured out, and we can learn a ton from them.
Keith says, guys, I totally missed the finger
Finger
painting.
painting. It
We
is actually
made how many we
yeah.
make this mistake?
Yes.
Figure painting clinic at the bottom of the website. So now he knows where that is.
This is
I
like
think
a
that's
public
what it
service.
is. I don't think it takes extra, it just takes that confidence of kind of like a what to do and just get enough, like you said, where you can have enough information to do that. And Late Night Model Railroad's got a question. How many printers do you have now? And I got a follow-up question to that, which is, do you name your printers?
Yeah. M1, M2, M3.
Oh, I figured it have some really fancy names on them,
Well,
but
what I used to do is put stickers on them. So I've got I used to, and I'm a little behind on this, but I used to come out with a new mini print sticker every month or two. So I think there've been 10 different mini print stickers over the last little while. So I used to put the mini print sticker on the hood of each printer, and then I'd know which printer it was by the sticker it had on it. But then I'm up to 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. I'm up to about 15. And that doesn't include a whole bunch of old ones, which I have sort of down in reserve just in case.
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's why my wife kicked me out of the house, because I started this with, a couple printers in the basement.
Right.
And it is stinky. It is,
I can imagine.
yeah, I mean, one 3D printer in the house is okay, but when you get to 15, my wife suggested I might want to go get a commercial space.
Yeah. That's awesome. You got 20 printers cranking out great products and all this. So we started talking about this mini me thing, and we talked about St. Louis. We talked about both of us being there.
Yep.
Why don't you tell them what we've got going on for this mini me project?
The fact that I'm scanning you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
scanning you.
that's newsworthy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, I thought it was a trick question.
No, it's not a trick question. So yeah, that'll be one of our big
Like I
announcements
say,
tonight.
I'm pretty fried right now. This is why the non-alcoholic beer is probably a good idea, because it's been a week. Yeah, no, I can't wait. I've scanned a lot of YouTubers, man. There are a lot of YouTubers. There's a whole category of YouTubers. And I feel like it's kind of like trading cards, when you got the need it, want it, got it.
Yeah.
You kind of trade them with your friends. So I've got Ostertag.
Yeah.
I don't have his partner in crime, so I'm going to be scanning him.
Yep. So Andy Dorsch will be down there being scanned.
Yeah, I need you.
Yeah.
I'm a collector. I'm like a collector of little mini, and then I have these little games where like it's kind of like Fight Club on my layout.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that we'll all be we can all hang out together in person and in miniature, and we all do that. We all get along
Michelle Kempema, right?
Yep, Michelle, Mother Michelle herself. Yeah.
So Michelle posted a picture. I think it was Michelle. So Dave Cruzwick, who's a very talented modeler, Jason Jensen, Michelle Kempema, and George Celios, all hanging out on a street corner.
Yeah, what a conversation.
Yeah, so you can create these little scenes of,
Yeah.
Well, so it's a lot of fun.
When we started talking about this idea, I said, I'll do it, but we got to come up with a pose that gets me rail fanning on the folks that purchase on their layout. So we're going to do a pose. I've got my camera ready, and that will be what I'm going to be doing, because I love rail fanning. I wish I could rail fan everybody's layout. So I'm going to be able to do that in miniature and be able to check out everybody's operation that puts me on their layout. And I am entrusting in Bernard for a lot of favorable Photoshop work and maybe reduction of materials a little bit. Maybe
body sculpting is available at an extra charge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for Arnold Schwarzenegger with my face, but I mean, we're looking for maybe a little bit of help. But no, it's going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and being able to do that and participate in what you've been doing here with the Mini Me project. So,
and I want to do a plug, if I may. It would really help me if people are interested in getting scanned. I would love them to sign up in advance for all sorts of reasons. One, spots usually book out. Two, it's a lot easier to do the advanced stuff in advance, so we don't have to sort of, fiddle around while we're there. And it also gives me a sense of when I can escape the booth and go see clinics. So it's actually miniprints.com/STLRPM. So if you actually go to the website, the banner that you saw at the very top, if you click that banner, it goes right to the booking page.
Is that
There
more
you go.
like it? Is that
That's really good.
awesome? So
STLRPM. And you can pick a time. There are time slots, 15-minute time slots. You can definitely sign up there. That's it. There's a video you can watch, and there's all sorts of like facts, FAQs. So you can book the time slot in the little section below there. So there you go.
yeah, a
And then
little
if you go
calendar.
below it, you can see all the sort of, what's going on.
Excellent. Yeah. So a little bit of like you said, FAQ is there. It tells you a little bit more about
Yeah,
Mini Me and getting scanned and what you can expect. So very
exactly.
cool. And yeah,
And
Friday and
it's just
Saturday for the show. That would be great.
really helpful to get sort of a master list of who's there and who wants to get scanned. How about rail fanning a layout instead of rail fanning? That would be different. You know what? I've had all sorts of poses. You would not believe the poses. The only limitation really is I have to do it standing because I can't do it sitting just because of the size. I spin you around and I don't want anyone flying off due to centrifugal
That's fine
force.
with me. I'm not getting down on the ground because I
No,
found as I get older, the ground gets farther away.
it's also
So
harder to get back up.
exactly. So, yep. So that'll be absolutely perfect. So awesome. Good
Yeah.
stuff there.
And there's more news too. I mean, there could be news till the cows come home.
Yeah. What else you got?
So I know you've watched I go live the first Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern.
No,
I know you've been on before.
I have.
I'm not a YouTuber. I don't broadcast regularly, but I like to check in with the gang, once a month and sort of talk about what's new and exciting. Last year and the year before, I used to do this thing called the peanut butter lid challenge. Did you ever hear about that?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So I did a whole bunch of them. Fabulous amount of fun. And the idea behind it is you take a 3.5-inch peanut butter lid, which I probably have one kicking around somewhere because there's always one somewhere. And it can be a Hellman's mayonnaise lid, or it doesn't matter. As long as it's a 3.5-inch, looks like a peanut butter lid. And people build little tiny mini dioramas in there.
Right.
HO scale, S scale, N scale, O scale. We've had them all. You don't have to use a mini print. I'd love it if you did, but you don't have to. And you create this tiny little scene. And it's great because it gives people a chance to actually use their mini prints. Because my biggest fear is that, there are going to be a bunch of unpainted mini prints sitting in a box somewhere. So if you don't have a layout or you're not going to get around to painting it, it gives you an excuse just to do a tiny little modeling project.
Sure.
Low risk, no muss, no fuss. Anyway, I had a ton of requests to bring it back. So I'm bringing back the peanut butter lid challenge, and the deadline is the end of August.
Awesome.
So it's so much fun. You can go to the YouTube page and see, past entries that people have done. But I will be announcing it on socials. It's on my list of things to do. Maybe I'll put all the information up tonight. But you got to make a peanut butter lid. It's so much fun, and
Yeah.
people are really creative.
Well, it sounds like a good practice forum for that, or good expression of things that maybe you can't do within a layout, or yeah. So a lot of neat thing there. So that awesome stuff, and yeah,
Yeah.
definitely we look forward to seeing you posting that information on that, and we'll share that on our outlets on the Around the Layout podcast and in our Facebook group as well. So
It's
that'd
all
be
about
great.
fun, right? You got to have fun with this
Absolutely,
stuff.
that's 100% of what this hobby is. It's fun, and if you're not having fun, reevaluate because there's a lot of fun to be had. That's for sure.
Keith, check out Facebook. I'm most active on Facebook, which is just Mini Prints. Actually, Mini Prints 3D, I think. Martin Jenkins, holy moly.
Nice.
I just printed a whole bunch of you. I'm sending you some figures to Australia. Marty,
Yeah.
there's a mini me of Marty going like putting his hand out to the world, saying hello to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. The infamous Marty pose there. So,
That's right, the
yeah.
Jenkins.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
so yes, so check if you're interested in the mini prints monthlies or the peanut butter lid challenge. Definitely check out the Facebook page, but also I've got a YouTube channel. Just you'll find it mini prints, and all of the past mini print monthly lives, including the one that I just did on Wednesday, is posted there as well. So you can check me out. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't pretend to be a YouTuber, but there are some things up on YouTube.
If I can go fast enough, we will have that. And then we will go, let's see, add. And that's where you find them on YouTube. So
Is that where I am? Oh, cool.
at mini prints. So youtube.com/at mini prints will get you to the mini prints YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
very, very simple, easy to remember.
Yeah.
Just remember mini prints.
Mini prints.
Excellent. So you got that going. You got, oh boy, no wonder why you're cranking balls to the wall there. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just been
it really has been quite the week.
absolutely
I haven't
nuts.
even told you, I'm also doing I do a lot of work with other manufacturers. So I've done some work with Rapido in the past.
Yep.
And I'm doing some work with an OEM creating some loads for an original, I guess, freight car manufacturer.
Awesome.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun. And before we get to the drawing, I got a couple announcements here from the around the layout side of things. I'll share with you folks. So we also all know about, and if I can get it up here on the screen, we'll share the slide. We have our segment Ask Tony. This is your opportunity to ask your model railroading questions to the editor of Model Railroad News, Tony Cook. You can go to aroundthelayout.com aroundthelayout.com/ask Tony. And there you can click on the button. You can ask Tony your model railroad question and tune into the next What's Happening in Model Railroad episode. That will be the official one, will be on the 16th. So we will need all your entries in before the 10th of June. So if you could get your entries in for the Ask Tony segment, again, aroundthelayout.com / I keep saying backslash. I don't know why. Aroundthelayout.com/ask Tony. So another new thing that we're doing is another opportunity. It's kind of the other direction. So now we have the ability for you to ask the question of, or answer the question of the month. This new segment will be tied in with a topic-driven episode that will air at the end of the month, related to the question of the month. The question of the month for July is, what commodity does your model railroad move the most of? So go to aroundthelayout.com/question, and then you can follow the instructions, very similar to the Ask Tony format. You go down, you click the recording, and then there's instructions down below. Tells you how to format it, tell us your name, where you're from, and then answer the question of the month. Again, what commodity does your model railroad move the most of? Tell us where it comes from and where it goes and why. You can get those in there by July 22nd. We'll pick a bunch of the answers to play on that show. And we're looking forward to that. And a little bit of a new format for Around the Layout podcast. You folks will start to see a little bit of difference. We're not moving away from all of what we've done, but we're going to try some new things. We've got our upcoming Talking Ops with Don Iris episodes. That'll be starting in August. We already got a guest lined up for that, but we'll be talking strictly ops related topics. And then we've got the topic driven there. Of course, we've got the What's Happening in Model Railroading episode with Tony Cook, which is always a lot of fun, learning about all the things that are new in the hobby. And then we'll still be doing our interviews. We'll be meeting new people, some people that you may already know, and learning about what they're passionate about in the hobby. So a lot of things happening here at Around the Layout. Plus our Mondays, we've got a couple specials. This coming Monday, we sat down. When I say we, it'd be Tony Cook and I sat down with the CEO of Fire Crown Media, Craig Fuller, and we got to hear his plans and Fire Crown's plans for our beloved magazines, including Model Railroader and Trains. Sounds like they're in great hands, but hear it from Craig Fuller himself. That will air this Monday. So a lot of great things happening here at Around the Layout podcast, and really excited to get out to the St. Louis RPM and meet folks. I'm sure we'll meet our next guest, so probably sometime out there at the St. Louis RPM as we get to get out and be at the foot of the listener, which is always a lot of fun. And I'm sure it's fun for you too to be out at the foot of the customer and getting to meet folks and hearing ideas and getting them to share their stories with you as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, good, Bernard.
I'm so looking forward to it. It's like, and the other thing too is I think this St. Louis show will be even better than last year's, because not a lot of people, from what I hear, unfortunately, are making the trek out to California to the National Train Show. So I think that St. Louis has really picked up quite a lot of vendors as a result of the Scaled Down National Train Show. So it's kind of like St. Louis is like 3 shows in one. It's an RPM, it's clinics, and it's vendors. So I think it's going to be like the best show in years.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of great things. We had Lonnie Bathurst and Scott Thornton on, and we chatted about the St. Louis RPM, and that was one of the big questions. What makes this show so great? And there's just so many different elements, but it comes down really to the location. Be able to be in the middle of the country. It's a great place for everybody to come together. Yep. And like you said, between the prototype railroading, the model railroading, there's a lot of great model railroaders around that area as well. So it just makes for a very a great location. I'm just so looking forward to being out in St. Louis again and being able to do all that. So again, looking forward to making the trek out to St. Louis. I've been out there once. I did it as a business trip, and my head was hanging out the window the entire time trying to find trains and, barely paying attention. So let's get to some winning here. So folks of the operating crew, mini prints, go ahead, Bernard. Why don't you tell us what we're giving away tonight for the operating crew members?
Well, we have a lovely microwave oven. No.
In what scale? Do you have a microwave oven? That may be
I don't actually. I've got an air conditioning unit, but no.
Yeah, there might
it's
be
endless.
The next thing.
We've come full circle. It's endless.
Maybe there'll be one in your hotel room in St. Louis. You can scan the one that's in there.
Exactly. No, I think how about a $50 gift card, virtual gift card, $50 US to use at miniprints.com for one lucky listener.
Awesome. So this will be for the folks that are in our operating crew. If you're not familiar, the operating crew is the subscription-based support system for Around the Layout podcast. Operating crew members get recognition on the website. They get early access to show previews on the Patreon page. They also get an exclusive sticker, because you can't model railroad without stickers in 2024. So they get an exclusive sticker. But more importantly, their support helps keep the Around the Layout podcast from behind paywalls. We don't put any episode behind a paywall, so that keeps them all out for everybody to listen to at no charge. And their support is fantastic. And what we also do is every month we do a giveaway for those folks that are in the operating crew, and folks that are kind enough, like Bernard at Mini Prints, to help support the operating crew, help support the podcast. So we thank Mini Prints for their support tonight. And we'll get the wheel of names up here just momentarily. If that's not it, let's see. Stop screen. Present. You guys are getting to see how your steak is made here as I'm yakking away at it here now. So we have a big wheel with 120 awesome folks that are supporting the podcast. So thank you to everybody who's a member. If you want to become a member of the operating crew, it's very simple. Go to aroundthelayout.com/crew, $3 a month. Or if you want to do the math, it's less than a dime a day for a year to become a member of the operating crew. We give away stuff every month, and we don't see that stopping anytime soon with all the awesome support that we get. But tonight, $50 virtual gift card to miniprints.com. So here we go. We're going to spin the wheel.
Does it make clicky sounds?
It does. I don't know if it comes through because of the way the board is set up. But Jeff Coleman is our winner tonight. So congratulations, Jeff. You are the winner of a $50 US Mini Prints virtual gift card. We'll get that information over to Bernard. He can reach out to you, and then you guys can connect, and then you can take a look and browse and select what you're going to get for your mini print stuff. So
congratulations, Jeff.
Awesome, Jeff. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to everybody who helped support the Around the Layout podcast. Now, we've gone probably the longest we've gone in a drawing. So I know that you also had something special for everybody that tuned in tonight. So
Sure.
Why don't you share that for all the folks that have spent nearly an hour with us?
Let's do an Oprah and give everyone a gift bag under their chair. How about that?
There you go. Go look. Everybody look under your chair. See what you got.
If you use the code Around the Layout podcast, ATLP, right?
Yep.
ATLP at miniprints.com, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase. That is all regular priced, non-painted mini prints, because I got to paint the guys to paint them. I got to pay the guys to paint them. So if it's unpainted, you get 15% off anything on the mini print site. And
well, I would love to type that, but for some reason, something is going completely haywire. When I type an A, it is giving me a 67890. So something is gone completely wrong here. So it's ATLP at checkout. Use the discount code ATLP as in Around the Layout podcast. So
yeah, and that's good till the end of the month.
Awesome. So go through the month of July. ATLP. I'm sorry I can't put it up on the screen. Something's going haywire with not sure what it is.
Failed to post, but here I'll just write ATLP return. Let's see if it.
Where did it go?
There we go.
Must be somewhere. Oh, you put it in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat.
I'm sorry. I'm wondering where it is. I'm not even ATLP. I was trying to do it as a banner across the screen, and it just started typing 67890. So,
well, that's cool too. That's a good code.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not the right code, but
not the right code, but it's a code. So, yeah, ATLP at miniprints.com at checkout. Awesome stuff, Bernard. Go ahead. You got one more thing.
Well, no, I was going to say, if anyone is a content creator that's looking for a new home, if anyone has models, definitely get in touch. If anyone has ideas for models, definitely get in touch. If anyone's coming to St. Louis, pop by the Mini Prints booth and say hello. I would love to, whether you're getting scanned or not, just pop by, hang out. I'll have some modules there with some little mini prints on there so you can take a look at things, and it'd be just great to see everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Looking forward to hanging out with a whole bunch of folks. We'll have more things posted here very shortly as I start to sort my agenda and tell folks where I'm going to be and what I'll be up to, and be able to share those stories when we get back from St. Louis. And then again, looking forward to meeting a whole bunch of new folks and seeing some familiar faces again, including yours, Bernard, out in St. Louis. So until then, thank you so much for your support of Around the Layout podcast, Bernard. And thank you to to Mini Prints. Thank you to everybody that joined us tonight. And until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good one.